Hi, I'm Brad. Today we're in the Mazda MX5. Now this is the newest model with the 2-litre engine. Of course, in different parts of the world you can also get it with the 1.6. We're having a bit of a laugh here because my cameraman is actually, there's not a lot of room in this car to do a video and he's holding onto the camera. But what I wanted to talk to you about was what you can expect to get out of this car, and we're going to do then a bit of a quick road test. But first I just want to explain to you, we've done a dyno test. There's some dyno data that we'll link to the bottom of this video, and of course we've owned a Subaru BRZ now for quite some time, and jumping in this car last night to do an initial road test, it's quite interesting the difference between this car and a BRZ. And most people see both cars as opposition to each other, but in fact I think they're actually distinctly different. The MX5 is noticeably lighter, more nimble. This one being the soft top, you're more aware of the road noise when you're driving the car. It's sort of like a more encompassing driver's type car, even though some people might say in some ways it's a little bit soft. But the really interesting thing also is it just feels light, it feels nimble, and it just feels a really fun car to drive. Now I'm not saying that the BRZ or the Toyota 86 is a bad car. I think the important thing to understand is they are both different types of cars, different features and benefits, and slightly different target markets. And just to give you a bit of an example, I've done you can probably see here a bit of a rough scratching on the dyno graph, and you can see the MX5 comes out with about 105 to 114 kilowatts depending on how we're doing on the dyno. But I've drawn up here the graph equivalent of the BRZ, because the BRZ factory standard is around 120, 125, and after you tune it, it pushes it up around sort of 130, 135. But interestingly, down low, I don't know whether you can see on the graph, peak torque on the BRZ is about the same on the MX5, but of course we all know in the middle here the BRZ's got the huge torque dip. So we'll tidy up that dyno graph and help you understand and see what you can refer to as far as a link at the bottom of this video page. But let's go for a drive and just see what it's like to drive in Sydney traffic. And the first thing that you notice when you jump in it is the doors are really light. The first reaction is almost when you pull the door closed after driving my BRZ for so long, you almost slam the door. But also you're really aware in the back of your, behind your head, the road noise coming from the soft top. Now of course we're not going to put the top down today because frankly it would then make a little bit more road noise, a bit more difficult for the video. But Dave, my cameraman who's driving, he's got his head half stuck out the side of the window because he's a big guy and there's not really a lot of room. It's a very enclosed environment in this car. But let's talk about the car. So steering wheel position I think is fantastic. Factory standard exhaust on this car with a custom tune by us gives it a little bit more sprightly performance, particularly above 5,000 RPM. But if you put your foot down, it's not loud, but of course it's not quiet either. It's a pretty spirited 2-litre twin cam engine from Mazda. They've done a lot of technology, some pretty fancy stuff inside this engine with the Sky Active technology that Mazda are really well known for now. The steering wheel is quite light. The shift on the gearbox I think is frankly really good. It's a 6-speed transmission, so driving around town you find yourself shifting gears if you want to take advantage of the sprightly nature of the engine. But being a 2-litre, it's got a hell of a lot of torque. Ride quality is actually surprisingly very good, but it's not easy for me to compare to my BRZ because my BRZ is obviously fairly heavily modified now. But from what I can remember 4 years ago when I got my BRZ, or probably even longer now, I think the suspension is a lot more compliant, a little bit more comfy. A lot of people tell me, and you read about on the internet, people don't think that this model handles as good as a BRZ, but I haven't driven the car hard enough on tight and twisty roads to make a honest comment on that. But I think from an ergonomic point of view, I'm a fairly tall person, a bit over 6 foot. There is excuse me, there is a fair bit of room in this car and still a reasonable amount of headroom for a car with a rag top. The dash has got the I'll just get Dave to go around and just have a look at the dash. You can see we've got the tacho in the middle The digital analog gauges on the side, which I think are pretty good. Speedo is on the right, so from a driving point of view, it's what I would like to see. The center console here, very similar to Mercedes, how it looks like it's a bit of an add-on, but it actually works very, very well. It's got a central control here to change the settings depending on what you want to look at, the radio. It's also got feedback on road environment and conditions when you're driving down the road, which you can turn on or off. One of the really good things, of course, being a fun sporty car, it's got what we would call a real handbrake. And overall, I actually like it. I think I now understand why people say when you drive an MX5 it puts a smile on your face, because it is a fun little car to drive. It's got some fantastic features. Let's be honest, it's a bit of a historical type car that's been around for a long period of time, so a lot of people will be looking at their older model cars and upgrading to the new one, and I think Mazda's done a fantastic job. So from my point of view, I give it the thumbs up. And if you are looking to improve your Mazda of this particular model, this is the MY15 model, we can tune the factory ECU, give you about another 5 or 10 kilowatts. Most of the gains are above 5,000 RPM, because down below it's like trying to get blood out of a stone of a normally aspirated car. It's not easy to get an increase in performance these days out of modern technology unless the cars are force inducted. There are some turbo and supercharger kits coming for these cars, which will be out shortly, which we'll do some more testing on. But for now, I'm just going to continue to drive the car, and we'll go for a bit of a cruise with Dave. He's a bit of a Toyota 86 man, so of course he's keen to know what his thoughts are on the car, and we'll give you some more updates soon. Bye for now.